This is the BLUETTI B300K expansion battery. My honest take right out of the box, it feels like a serious purpose-built block of energy. I picked it up to extend my AC300 setup at home and to give myself longer runtimes on road trips without dealing with a noisy gas generator. I was curious whether the K version, which trims some extras from the older B300, would actually be better for the way I use power. Short answer, for system-based setups, it makes a lot of sense. On looks and feel, the B300K is a dense slab with a compact footprint for its class. It's roughly 20.7 by 12.9 by 8.2 inches and about 65 pounds, so it's not a one-hand carry. The finish is a dark, textured plastic that holds up well to scuffs. The handles are solid, but not deep, so I have to plan my grip. The front face is clean, a power button, a 5 LED state of charge bar, and a single USB-A port for emergencies. That's it. No extra DC ports, no rubber-covered jacks, no direct solar input. At first, I missed the idea of more ports, but once I committed to using it as a true expansion battery, I appreciated the simpler, tighter package. The expansion cable is where the design shows its heavy-duty side. It's thick, rigid, and locks in with a slide mechanism. It inspires confidence, but demands clearance. I can't push the stack flush against a wall. I leave at least half a foot of space for that cable loop. From my experience, pairing the B300K with the AC300, setup is straightforward. I placed the battery as the base, locked the cable, and the AC300 recognized it right away. Firmware was up to date, and the system was ready in minutes. On grid charging through the AC300, I routinely saw fast input power. BLUETTI rates up to 3,000 watts AC input to the head unit. And in practice, I could refill a single B300K from near empty to full in roughly an hour and a half when I wasn't throttling it. That speed is a huge quality of life win. With solar, I feed the AC300's dual MPPT inputs. On a clear day, with about 1,200 watts of panels, the battery topped up steadily even through partial shade. When I pushed input and load at the same time, most of the noise came from the AC300 fans, not the battery, which is basically silent. Cold weather reminded me this is a LifePO4 pack without internal heating. LifePO4 is safe, long-lived, and stable, but it can't be charged below freezing. I tried charging in a chilly garage at around 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and the BMS blocked it exactly as it should. I warmed the battery above 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and charging resumed. If you plan to keep this in an unheated space in winter, factor in a little heating pad or bring it indoors before charging. As for longevity, the 4,000-plus cycle rating to 80% capacity is a big reason I went this route. That's years of daily use without babying the pack, and in my opinion, that's the best argument for LifePO4 for home backup and road use. Real-life runtime is where expectations matter. A single B300K holds about 2,764.8 watt-hours. That's a lot, but big loads chew through it quickly. My office setup, desktop, monitor, modem, LED lighting, barely dents it over several hours. And my fridge cycles fine through a multi-hour outage. When I tried to keep a small RV AC running well into the night, one B300K wasn't enough. I got a few hours and decided to add a second module later. A modular approach made that painless. I connected the second battery, the system balanced itself after a full charge and discharge, and the extra capacity felt immediately useful. Key features that matter to me come down to chemistry, capacity, compatibility, and the streamlined design. LifePO4 means thermal stability and a very long life. The rated capacity at 51.2 V and 54 amp-hours gives me predictable performance with high-power inverters, and the higher voltage bus keeps currents reasonable. Compatibility has been excellent. I've used it with the AC300 for home backup and tested it with an AC200L for a leaner travel rig. The included P090A P090D cable locked up perfectly, and the units recognized each other fast. The compact shell compared to the older B300 really does help fitment. I slid it under a bench where a taller pack wouldn't go, and even though the B300K only has a basic USB-A on the front, that came in handy once when I wanted to top off a headlamp without waking the whole system. It's perfect for people who plan to keep the battery connected to a BLUETTI power station most of the time, home backup stacks, RVs with a central inverter, van builds that want a neat tower install. From my experience, the K model's stripped-down face is a non-issue once you commit to that architecture. If you need a battery that can act like a mini power station by itself, with USB-C PD, or a 12-volt outlet, or direct solar in, I'd look at the B300 or B300S instead. Also note the cable is genuinely stiff, and that shapes where you can place the stack. I ended up reorganizing a corner of my office to give the cable some breathing room and avoid a tripping hazard. And while this is about the battery, not the inverter, it's worth saying, if you pair it with an AC300 and leave the inverter on 24/7, the standby draw is not trivial. The battery can slowly drain if the head unit is idling without a charge source, so I use schedules and PV priority to keep it topped up. The parts I like most are simple: the value per watt hour, the cycle life, and how seamlessly it scales. I started with one pack to soften outages and run my office cleanly through grid blips. I added a second when I wanted overnight coverage for my fridge and networking, plus a few creature comforts, and the system grew with me at the pace of my budget. Charging speed when paired with the AC300 is excellent and gives me confidence before a storm. The safety story with LifePO4 is strong, and I don't worry about storing it indoors. I also like that it's forward and backward compatible across key BLUETTI bases. That protects the investment if I reconfigure my setup next year. There are a few trade-offs I accept. It's heavy. I can move it alone, but I'm careful, and if I were installing multiple packs on a high shelf, I'd absolutely get a second set of hands. The lack of internal heating means I stay mindful in winter. The cable demands space and patience, and the minimal front ports are a conscious decision I made to prioritize a clean, compact expansion battery over a Swiss Army power bank. In my opinion, the BLUETTI B300K is a smart buy if you live in the BLUETTI ecosystem or plan to. It nails the core job: safe, long-lasting energy storage that grows with your needs. I'd recommend this for home backup users with an AC300 or AC500, RV owners who want a quiet alternative to a generator, and anyone who cares more about dependable capacity and longevity than standalone bells and whistles. If you're new to this, the basic idea is simple. Pair the B300K with a compatible power station, use AC or solar to fill it, and it supplies clean power when you need it. No fumes, no maintenance headaches, and it just works day after day. In conclusion, the B300K takes the expansion battery concept and focuses it where it counts. It trades a few convenience ports for a more compact shell, higher cycle life, and a friendlier price per watt hour. For my use, that's a win. If your plan is modular storage you can expand over time, this is the piece that lets you build confidently without starting over. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel and drop your questions or your own experience in the comments. Thank you for watching.